12:27 this afternoon, and joining us live now is Dr. Ruth White, a mental health specialist who's going to walk us through ways we can manage our workplace stress. Good to see you, doctor.
Good to see you again. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you're doing well as well. We're all navigating through so much nowadays, right? So just to start us out here, what are some common causes of workplace stress?
Well, I'm sure you've experienced them. A lot of it is about workload, especially right now, because right now there are layoffs. People are worried about their jobs, so they're putting more time in. The economic squeeze means that a lot of people have a lot of jobs, the side gig jobs, the part-time jobs, trying to pay bills, student loans. Student loans, as of May 4th, I think, there are something like 5 million people who might be in default. So there are reasons for people to feel a lot of workplace stress, because worrying about your job every day is stressful just in and of itself.
Yeah, and can you walk us through how organizational structures or even management styles can contribute to stress as well?
So the line is that people do not quit a company, they quit a boss. And there's a thing called the contagion of emotion, which is that whatever emotion that our boss has transmits to other people. And so most of the time when people will talk about what makes them really stressed out at work, they are talking about management styles that are sort of autocratic. I don't have a lot of control. So the more control we have over our work product, our work time, and where we work, the happier we are.
Yeah, and what are some early warning signs of workplace stress in an employee?
That's really, really important. So a lot of times it starts out like emotional exhaustion, where you're just tired all the time. It doesn't matter how much you sleep. I have clients who are like this, where they just are like, I don't know what it is, but I'm just tired. I sleep, but I don't feel like working. I look at the screen and nothing's happening. People will feel detached or cynical. So, I'm not making a difference. I don't know why I'm here, or I'm just a cog in a machine for capitalism, blah, blah. You will also see reduced performance. So sometimes people are not on their game like you would expect them to. And sometimes as a leader, you have to check in with someone and say, are you okay? Because either they're slow to do what they normally would do a lot quicker, or the product they're producing is not as good. And then there are also the physical symptoms such as headaches. People get tension in their shoulders, their back, a lot of stomach problems. And sometimes people are just ill all the time.
Yeah, I can just see people at home listening to this and being like, hey, I've experienced that. And I have some workplace, some tension in the shoulders or headaches throughout the day, for sure. Now, what strategies can people use to manage stress on a daily basis when they're at work?
I will say that, I always start with taking a deep breath. So sometimes when things are getting stressful, walk away, take a break, take some deep breaths. I believe in sunshine on your face and fresh air in your lungs. That sometimes when we're stuck in the office and the place itself brings us stress, and this is why sometimes, you'll sit in your car for a moment because you're just like, okay, let me go into the office now and face the onslaught of the day. There's also a lot of research around blocking out our time. So if you're checking emails all day, you will find it a lot stressful than if you check emails, do your work, check emails, do your work. So, take breaks. Don't eat lunch at your desk. I always say when you're stressed, and lunch is an opportunity to take some time to eat in a peaceful, calm space. When you're sitting with your laptop, sending emails, in a meeting, literally stuffing food down your face, not good for your stomach, not good for how you feel physically. And the last thing I will say is just get rest, get good sleep. Manage that as much as you can so that you are relaxed and rebooted for the next day.
And how can employers create a less stressful work environment, doctor?
Well, one of the things that actually worked at the tech company that I worked at one point is that we decided that instead of having meetings back to back, especially when you're having Zoom meetings, because if you're having meetings back to back, then people are going, oh, can I go take a break? Oh, I need to do this. Is to make your meetings 20 minutes and 50 minutes. So it always gives people 10 minutes to go do whatever they need to do. And if you can, because some people are just really busy, put half hour in between your meetings. So you have a 1 hour meeting, take a break. My sister just texted me before this and she said, I'm on a 2 hour Zoom call with no break. What are people thinking, right? Because our attention span to stare at a green dot for 2 hours, it's really, really hard. It's physically hard to stay in one space for that long without getting up, moving around, etc. So it really is important for employers to create spaces and time for people to feel like they can take a break and rest. And companies are feeling it, right? So places that like Goldman Sachs, the interns kind of said, no, we can't do this working 7 day a week thing anymore. And people are actually having mental health impacts, suicides, et cetera, that have happened. So it's really important to create workplaces that are supportive for our mental health and well-being.
Yeah. And doctor, what should an employee do if they're feeling overwhelmed at work, but they're fearful of retaliation, of being called unprofessional if they do speak up?
Well, a lot of people have mental health benefits that they don't use. I know this because as a therapist, I see a lot of people who suddenly realize, like, wait, I have all this benefits that I'm not using to really benefit myself. Take advantage. If you have massages, I have a sister who's a nurse. She has never used her massage benefits. I said, what are you talking about? Right? You could get massages to relax her, acupuncture, going to the gym. A lot of employees have these kinds of benefits. So use all of them. They're part of your package. Use all of them. Otherwise, reach out to HR if you need support in that area. That's what your people, whatever talent, whatever that department is called now at companies, really reach out to those people because you will understand better how to work with the manager that you have in the unit that you have. But you do have rights so that if you are finding yourself in a situation where you have mental health impacts, that you have rights with regard to getting accommodation, especially if you have a diagnosis around depression or anxiety or any other kind of mental health diagnosis.
All right. And in our last about 30 seconds here, curious to get your perspective on this. Can a toxic workplace culture, can that cause long-term psychological harm?
Yes, it can. And so one of the things I'm doing, I started a coaching practice for people who are experiencing burnout. It's called Lamora Coaching. And what I'm focusing on is helping people prevent burnout and recover from burnout. Because it's really important as we think about how to manage that stress. Sometimes the workplace is not going to change, so we have to change, right? So we have to learn coping strategies. We have to figure out, is this the best workplace for me? How can I create a space and create a routine that supports my mental health and well-being if I have to stay at this toxic job? Because the job scenario out there isn't that great and nobody wants to be out there looking for one. So sometimes we have to adapt to the environment if we can't change the environment ourselves.